Good morning, Olympic fans. I am here, Sarah Gross, with my lovely co-host, Kelly O'Mara.
I thought you were going somewhere.
Okay, you stop. I usually am going somewhere, but I did not have something planned, and I had to say we're actually recording at the time that I envisioned us recording every day this morning.
Yes, we are
up early,
bright and early, despite all of our huge partying at Team USA House last night.
Mm-hmm.
So we did go to Team USA House yesterday. I feel like we need to describe Team USA House before we talk about like what it's for and all that. So you walk up to a like former palace.
Like, yes. With giant columns.
It was Napoleon originally built it as the first stock exchange in Paris. It's these huge columns, and Team USA has bought it out and hung massive USA banners through the columns. And you walk up and you're just like, yep, America.
Honestly, like it is the scale that you picture. Like
100%.
The U.S. going hard at something is definitely like taking a building in Paris built by Napoleon and turning it into their Olympic house. Like that is the most American move I've seen so far, I think, at the Olympics.
Yeah, it made me feel at home,
Kelly was like, oh yeah, this fits. And I'm like there with my face in my hands.
It wasn't fun. So a lot, like we kind of mentioned yesterday, a lot of the countries have houses. A lot of the other countries are like smaller and they're all in like kind of closer together. Team USA is like off on its own. And therefore, both the athletes, there's like a lounge that's just for athletes that you can't go into there, but it's also for coaches, family. It used to just be like family and friends, Team USA like officials, heads of all the different sports. Like we went with the head of U.S.A Triathlon is who gave us passes yesterday. And then we also met like the head of U.S. volleyball, the head of U.S. table tennis, or I think she might have the head of world table tennis. It's unclear to me, but so there's a lot of different sports there. Just kind of talking, sharing ideas.
It also we also saw Dawn Staley.
We did. So they also have like constant programming during the day. In the evening, they show like the big events, and they have former Olympians and then current Olympians coming up on stage in between events. But during the day, they do kind of like talks and workshops and panels. And yeah, we got there and I was like, Sarah, I think that's Dawn Staley.
Yeah. And then like 2 minutes later, she's being ushered on stage and we're watching. We will play some of those clips on our Instagram. So I did catch a few great quotes from Dawn Staley. Yeah.
So it was really cool. And we did talk to Vic, who is the head of USAT, kind of about what all these people do who are like all these officials and CEOs. Like, what is the CEO of USA Triathlon? She's not out there like fixing people's bikes in the triathlon.
Like, what does she do at the Olympics? You mean? Like, we know what she sort of does.
I know she does in life, but I mean, like at the Olympics, what is her job? Because they have like team managers and high performance directors and mechanics and masseuses and chefs. So like, what are all these heads of these different sports, doing here? And for them, it is kind of like a conference. So she told us all about that too. All right, we're with Vic Brumfield, CEO of USAT. Vic, we're at USA House. Tell us, what is USA House?
Oh, the atmosphere is fabulous. It's a house dedicated to celebrating and supporting Team USA. And so you walk up and in classic USA style, the entire building is draped in red, white, and blue Team USA signs. And you come in and it's this beautiful, iconic building that was the original stock exchange in Paris. And the entire building is dedicated to celebrating and promoting the United States of America in Paris.
There was a very French guy out front who yelled "Allez les Bleus" at us as we walked in. So. And so you're here, we're at the Olympics. What have you been doing with your days? Like, what does a CEO do during the day? Just go to every Olympic event?
I wish I could. It's been a total whirlwind. I think for every day I'm like, wait, what day is it? Yeah. So, but what I spend most of my time doing is making sure that our athletes and our staff have everything they need to be successful. And then in addition to attending our own triathlon events and experiences for our athletes and our foundation and our donors, it's been about spending time with not only Team USA and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, but also the international federations. So just like I'm here on behalf of the United States, every international triathlon federation is here to support not only their athletes in their country, but also to support the sport. So there's a lot of really wonderful collaboration between the international federations and World Triathlon coming together for the sole purpose of making sure that our sport is showcased in the best way here in Paris.
So you're having like a beer with like the Brit Tri head and like a coffee with the friends. Is that like how this works? And you guys are like collabing ideas?
We are, and it's really fun because they almost all happen at their houses. So we're at the Team U.S.A house. We've gone to the Denmark house. There's events happening at the Canada house and the Italian house. And so it's a really great opportunity, not only for them to show other countries what they do to support their team spirit, but also for us to get a chance to really connect with them because there's so much collaboration that happens. So while we're still competitors, we all have the same goal of making sure that the sport is growing and thriving in our respective countries. And so there's a lot of really interesting conversations. And the reality is we have a lot of the same challenges.
All right, so you're here to meet with other federations, to have like meet with World Tri. You guys are having like a World Tri party tonight, right?
We are. So we're actually here at the Team USA house. We're hosting World Triathlon and their executive board. Really is a demonstration of our gratitude for them. They've had 2 presidents in the entire history of World Triathlon. So the first was Les McDonald. The sport was founded in Canada, and Les's successor was Marisol Casado. And Marisol's been in her role for nearly 2 decades, and she's now going to be stepping down. We're going to have a new president elected in October, and so this is really our opportunity as the United States to not only thank her for everything she's done for the sport, but also to express the accomplishments that we've had in the sport as well, and our alignment and our goal to take everything that we've experienced here in the sport of triathlon in Paris and pull that forward to the next big iconic moment, which will be on our home soil in LA.
Like a lot of these things, it's not like you're helping the athletes here with their bikes or like their performance, right? Like we have a whole high performance staff. It's not like you're out there in LA like designing the run course, right? So like you're kind of just here to support and make sure everybody has the resources they need, right?
Yeah, I'm just laughing. If I was in charge of getting the athletes their bikes, we would have had a lot more issues. Luckily, we have professionals to help them with all of those things. What we'll do is we'll probably help them source the expertise that they need. It's really important to LA28 to have local American talent, primarily California talent, operating and producing their events in Los Angeles. And so that's something that we're looking to do is help them source the right people to produce the events. They're obviously very engaged in asking for our feedback because we have experience producing events in the United States. But it's really about World Triathlon. They will be the ones hosting it. LA28, they'll be the ones making sure the facilities are ready for the event to take place.
And we were talking kind of about when you have these Olympics, when you have Paris, you have LA, it goes beyond just, oh yeah, like we can get in the weeds of triathlon and all of that. But the real goal here is like something that can go global, right? An iconic location, iconic performances. What can the Olympics do in terms of reaching like a bigger audience than just, the sport?
Well, I loved it. We were just talking about your email that you had sent out earlier that talked about how important the backdrop of the bridge and the Eiffel Tower and just the whole. I wanted to say all the locations, but I'm going to totally destroy the name. So I'm just going to paint a picture instead of name them. But you think about how important the Olympic Games are to the sport. The sport started booming in 2000, and it is not lost on me that was the first time that triathlon was in the Olympics. It is so important for the sport to have that global platform. And so, again, the sport started booming when we first performed in the Olympics in 2000, and it grew exponentially through, maybe 2012, 2014. And what's important to us is to make sure that we continue to put triathlon forward in the same way because it's visibility that helps people understand that the sport exists and that it's possible for them. And so, especially in Olympic triathlon, it's short course racing. And so when you see short course racing, you realize, okay, I actually don't have to go commit to, anywhere from 12 to 15 hours to do an event. You can actually commit an hour and a half to do an event, and it's so much more accessible. And I think that the Olympic style racing demonstrates that in a way that we don't often see in the sport. And so having that visibility through media will be really important for us. And I think LA is only going to continue to amplify that.
You don't have to run a 29-minute 10K either.
Oh my God. I run a 29-minute 2 mile. So no, and I do triathlons all the time. But you called it too, that you also, it shows the level of talent in these athletes is unbelievable. They are the best in the world in each individual discipline. And it's wild because you see the disparity between the front and the back are actually still running at a pace that most people could never even imagine.
We were laughing out on course. We're like, are they running really fast or are they running slow? And then you find out later, you're like, oh, she only ran a 34-minute 10K. God, right? So what else are you going to? I know you're as the official, you get to go to other events. What other non-triathlon things are you going to?
I haven't gone to much. I've actually, because my focus has been triathlon, but I did go to the gymnastics women's team finals, and it was spectacular. I mean, being able to see those athletes up close and personal, talk about athletes who make something look so easy that is beyond my imagination.
Yeah, no. You don't realize how hard it is until you try to do a cartwheel.
Yeah. Yeah, or even like touch your toes. Yeah.
Well, thanks for chatting with us.
Okay, Kelly, one thing I was super impressed by is that Vic is reading your newsletter to get her daily Paris updates.
So yeah, if you want the daily Paris updates, you should subscribe to Women's Sports Fan Club and get the newsletter that tells you what to watch, what the big news is.
All the leaders of the Olympic movements are reading it.
Yeah, obviously. But what her and I were kind of talking about there, and what she had talked about before, was that there had been all this, hand-wringing about the triathlon, and very in the weeds triathlon people, who are my people, like freaking out about like, why couldn't we just do it in a suburban lake? Yeah. And it was like, guys, suburban lake does not give iconic. Suburban lake does not get on the cover of the New York Times. Yeah. Does not get on the primetime NBC broadcast. We were going for something. It was a play. It was a move, but we were going for something that would be like seen around the world and help grow the sport, right?
Well, and we were joking. I was joking with someone. Actually, I think you were still upstairs at the U.S.A. At the U.S.A. house, and I was joking with someone that like actually the poop in the Seine made. Totally. Was like good for our sport.
It got way more coverage.
It got way more coverage because it was like the big, like, will they, won't they story.
Sure.
Yeah.
But what you're looking at is like, and that worked out. Hopefully nobody got sick. I haven't heard of anyone getting sick yet, but I was going to say it worked out for triathlon. But what all these sports are going for is kind of going global. They're going for that iconic moment. You think about rugby having its like huge one right now, and it's like because of these kind of things that went beyond just the sport.
Right. And it's like, it's true also for the triathlon across the board. Like we grew because of the Olympics. Like that push, like Vic mentioned Les McDonald, the Canadian who like really was like a dog with a bone early, like on getting our sport into the Olympic Games. And he's the one who like even created the format, like the Olympic distance format to make it good for television in order to get into the Olympics. Right, so like that, like the Olympics has been great for our sport all around.
Yeah. And it has potential for like any sport to kind of go beyond its sport. Like that's what people
to get reach beyond. Like that's why sports want to be in the Olympics.
It is. Yeah. So, all right, we're going to thank our partners and come back and talk some more about U.S.A House because we just love U.S.A so much.
If you're like us, you're totally inspired by Katie Ledecky and Summer McIntosh and more ready than ever to up your swim training. So let's take a minute to talk about hair and skincare for swimmers. You've probably asked yourself questions like, how can I keep my hair healthy and hydrated as a swimmer? How can I avoid my skin feeling itchy and dry after being in the pool? And how can I get rid of those pesky goggle marks around my eyes? Enter TryHard. TryHard has pre- and post-swim solutions designed to reduce the absorption of pool and ocean chemicals into your hair and skin. We love using TryHard's pre- and post-swim conditioner before and after every swim to keep our hair feeling great. TryHard also has a bunch of other products useful for swimmers, like their pre- and post-swim eye gel, which totally works for getting rid of those pesky goggle marks and puffy eye feeling, while providing hydration and a cooling effect. TryHard products are vegan, dermatologically tested, and packaged in recycled plastic. Whether you're swimming in the pool, the ocean, or maybe even the Seine, take care of your hair and skin with TryHard. Use the code FeistyGames for 22% off site-wide at tryhard.co. Plus, you'll get an extra 5% off during sales on top of the already discounted price. That's Feisty Games for 22% off at tryhard.co. Historically, athletic footwear has been designed, researched, and tested for men. Brands have relied on the shrink it and pink it approach to sell male shoes to female customers. That's why we are so excited Heddas is working with us on our Paris coverage. Hedda's is building high-performance technical running shoes for women from the ground up. They operate from a purely female perspective, which we love, and their mission is to ensure the female running experience gets the funding, research, and recognition it deserves. Hedda's has unlocked the science behind women's biomechanics through dedicated research and creates better shoes for women's performance. Some of Hedda's special features include a lower ankle collar to reduce rubbing on women's ankle bones, a breathable mesh toe box to allow for ventilation and accommodate female toe shape, and a supercritical foam and Pebax plate midsole to keep our legs going when the going gets tough. Hedda's has 3 shoe models designed for different sessions: the Alma Cruise for long runs, the Alma Tempo for training days, and the Alma Speed for pushing the pace. Celebrate the outstanding performances at the Olympics with your own pair of Hedda's. Use the code Feisty20 for 20% off at heddas.com. That's Feisty20 for 20% off at heddas.com.
Kelly, we have a very USA centric episode today, and I'm just letting you run wild with it.
Good.
Because on a future day, we're going to go to the Canada House, and we're going to have Canada centric episode.
Good. Okay. My not favorite thing, but last night when we were there and they have all these big, whatever, we'll talk a little bit more. We'll do a tour of the USA House on social because I think a lot of people want to see this crazy Napoleon Palace. But in the middle area, there's all these TVs and you can watch all the main events, and they bring different former Olympians up and people who have won medals yesterday or today. So they brought up the men's gymnastics team who had won the first medal that U.S. has won in a while. And one of them goes, "I'm just going to be honest. The best country is the USA." And I was like, yes.
But of course, he's he just won a medal for his country.
Right.
And he's in USA House. I mean, that's
he's just going to be honest.
He should feel like that. He's going to be honest.
So, yeah, we did. I mean, the reason we went last night, besides the fact that we had been given passes to come to the USA Triathlon thing, was that it was Simone Biles was going to, fingers crossed, win the Olympic all-around gymnastics. And we wanted to see that in USA House when she won.
We wanted to be there for those vibes.
And it was very cool. Mm-hmm. It was cool. So they do have all these lights go off, fog machine when the U.S. wins a medal.
It was pretty exciting to be amongst Simone's people.
And you stayed down in the main area with all the free drinks and watched some more fencing and swimming and a whole bunch of events, right?
Yeah. It was pretty cool to be the U.S. won 4 medals while we were there in the evening.
Oh, because they won the team fencing too.
Yeah, this is wild. Just to be there and be part of that energy was pretty cool. There's not a lot of countries where you could be in one evening just collecting 4 medals and watching everyone celebrate.
Well, it is because we're honestly
it's only population.
I know as well. Well, it is kind of funny. We'll talk about medal count in a second and how we count it because, of course, we want to be winning the medal count. But while you were watching in that main area with the food and the fans, there are all these other little salons around for different, and there's an athlete lounge you can't go in, but there's other different areas and a team store. And so Millie and I were wandering around talking to fans kind of about how, when did they start planning this trip? How long, what have they gone to see? This is a big lifetime trip for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so some of them told us about their whole experience.
Where did you come from?
New York, Long Island. Yeah.
And how,
My husband and my daughter.
and how long ago did you buy tickets?
Oh my gosh, he bought tickets a few months ago. Okay. He surprised us Christmas Eve to tell us that we're going to Paris. So my daughter was excited about that. So, yeah.
And what have you seen so far?
We saw gymnastics. We've seen swimming. We came today to see the other gymnastics. We saw. We waited for track and field, which is my favorite, and that's pretty much all we saw. Physically saw, but we've been looking at everything. Yeah.
And who's your favorite athlete at the games?
Oh gosh, my favorite is Simone with gymnastics, of course.
I will tell you. So we were asking people, who's your favorite athlete? I didn't say who's your favorite. I was who's your favorite athlete at the games? And everyone was listing female athletes.
You didn't say your favorite female athlete.
I was like, who's your favorite athlete at the games? And they were like, Simone Biles, Katie Ledecky. Somebody went with some of the U.S. women's, they started naming U.S. women's soccer players.
Oh, wow.
So they were just like, you're like, yeah, I get that. I get that. You're like, then you're like, oh, actually, can I name a male athlete right now? LeBron James. So it was really cool. It was really fun to talk to those people. I was laughing about the medal count because the U.S. does take the medal count very seriously, which is it's like kind of one of those, like, we are the biggest country population wise. If we aren't near the top, we're kind of
you're basically failing.
Yeah, you're kind of fucking up. But usually, obviously, you count overall medals and golds and silvers and bronze. Usually, you list it in the order of like who has the most golds.
Yes.
We have started relisting it in the order of who has the most medals, period, because we do not have the most golds right now. So
you can't just like after all of these, after over 125 years of Olympics, you can't be like, oh, we're going to change how we count who's winning. Yeah, you can't do that.
I know. So
even if you're in like a Napoleon house.
Because otherwise we're not winning right now.
I don't actually know. Like I do know from watching Canadian coverage for so many years that the way that we consider success is like by comparison to previous years to ourselves, which I think is actually kind of the same way that you do. It's just that like
we primarily have to beat China. Actually, that is first and foremost our biggest concern. Almost always. France is doing really well, actually, medal count wise, which is total. Actually, like that's cool, that's awesome. They're really up there for them and their like size. So
and Canada is in 9th in the medal count. Okay. Yeah, and we have like it's actually kind of cool. Like we have 9 medals, I think, or 9 golds. I'm sorry, I don't remember. And then we were there for like.
Oh, Summer McIntoshes.
We were there for Summer McIntosh. We were there for the rugby silver. So it's kind of fun to be like, oh, we were there. And last night, even at U.S.A House, we still caught Summer winning again. So.
Yeah, she is kind of epic. All right, we had a few more fun ideas from some fans last night, but we're gonna get to those after we play our last partner ad.
Here at Feisty, we are dedicated to partnering with brands that are mission-driven and having an impact. That's why we are thrilled to be supported by Joni, a company creating game-changing period care for everybody. Many conventional menstrual products rely on plastic made from petroleum, a non-renewable resource. Did you know that in the US, approximately 12 billion pads and 7 billion tampons are discarded annually, and these products generate over 200,000 tons of plastic waste per year? It can take 500 to 800 years for a single petroleum-based plastic disposable pad to decompose due to its materials. And tampons with applicators also contribute to plastic waste, which can take centuries to break down. Joni is dedicated to bring the wasteful and antiquated feminine hygiene industry into the 21st century. Using a design-led approach, Joni's personal care products and commercial dispensers provide the most innovative and accessible period and leak care solutions in the world. Organic and free of harmful levels of chemicals or irritating fragrances, Joni's pads and tampons support menstrual health and the environment, while allocating at least 2% of revenues to break the cycle of period poverty, dismantle menstrual stigmas, and empower periods. Now that's what we call 21st century period care. Ditch uninspiring and irritating feminine hygiene products and say hi to Joni's silky soft, super absorbent, and toxin-free pads and tampons. Joni pads feature a wrapper and protective layer made from cornstarch, a plant-based material, making them biodegradable and compostable in the right conditions. Joni tampons are made with organic cotton. They're compostable, including the wrapper, which is made of cellulose. Choosing sustainable period products isn't just a trend, it's a movement. You can get 10% off your order with the code Feisty at getjoni.com. That's 10% off at GETJONI.com with the code Feisty.
So when we were walking around talking to fans who are at various levels of free beers in, we were asking them, like, if X was an Olympic sport, like what would you be a gold medalist in, right? And then I was also asking them, so like if you were in charge of the Olympics, what would you change? Because here's the thing, right? Okay, so my husband, who showed up yesterday, he has this idea that instead of a mixed relay, which he thinks is stupid,
what?
Okay, yeah.
Anyway,
no, he thinks it's
we can argue
stupid.
that later with him.
He thinks we should end the Olympics with like a relay where like you have your actual relay, like you have your best swimmer, your best runner, your best cyclist from the country, and then all the countries like go against each other.
Which
right?
I like Steve's idea.
Right.
But I feel like potentially it doesn't have to be a triathlon.
Sure.
Like
it could be anything. We could do a pentathlon.
Yeah. Or
That'd be
you
interesting.
could do like a random one.
We could do something
like
random.
it's like your best, like whatever, pole vaulter.
Sure.
And your best hammer thrower.
But the triathlon is a thing that actually exists.
That's true.
As his pentathlon.
But it's the Olympics.
So I'm just saying this is his example of what he would do if he was in charge. Well, I'm just saying that the Olympics is literally a combination of events. So just combining events doesn't really like create like do anything here, Sarah. Is my point.
But then you're like, you could change whatever you want about the Olympics.
So if you were in charge and you could change anything, what is your? And so this is his idea. This is his example. But we asked some of the other fans, like, if they were in charge of the Olympics, what would be their idea? What would they change? And one woman I thought had a really good idea.
I had a major idea for the Olympics. So what, like, if you were in charge, what would you do? What would you change about the Olympics?
Oh, like what event am I looking for?
Yeah, like, what would you add? What would you do different? Do you have a brilliant idea like that?
I don't know if I have a brilliant idea like that. Let me think about it. Well, okay, my brilliant idea is, I'm in my 50s. Yeah, I want to go to the Olympics. Right. So have something for me.
Maybe we should have a plus 50 Olympics.
A plus 50 Olympics, but for not people who are like athletes like in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. Right?
Like have regular people.
Regular people, right? I mean, I was a swimmer. I did, my, whatever, 1,000 years ago. Yeah, that's what I want.
We'd have like the one regular athlete in the games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I want. A regular athlete games. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and then actually what would be really cool would be a regular athlete games and one Olympic athlete to just show how wicked fast they are. Yeah. Right?
That's a good idea.
Hey.
I
have so many questions, Kelly. I have so many questions for her. So like, because it's like, you know how like in para, we've talked about this before on the podcast. Like you have difficulty like categories.
Yeah, you have different categorizations.
If you have regular athlete games, how are you categorizing people by
what makes
age?
them regular?
Or like what? Yeah, like how regular is regular?
Right. This is like the whole
Like, how do
triathlon
we
question.
test
Yeah,
regular?
yeah. This is the whole triathlon bullshit thing where everyone's like, they're the best amateur, and you're like, they are a full-time athlete and they have sponsors. They are not an amateur. Yeah.
Right.
I do think that's why the 50+ Olympics would be fun.
Right.
Right.
But then you'd still be like, you'd be at a huge advantage if you were 50 or 51.
True,
Like that's
true.
those are your years. Like it would literally be the 51 to 52-year-old Olympics. You know.
I just really enjoyed that. Okay, so people often say that like, oh, it'd be really nice to have just like a regular, but like a fit regular person do an event in the Olympics so you could see. So all the guys who are like, oh yeah, I could totally take a point on Coco Gauff, right? It would be like, no, you cannot. They could see. And I just really enjoyed that she wanted it the opposite.
She wanted one Olympian.
And to show like, how terrible you are in comparison.
How awful the 50-year-olds are. Yeah. What a celebration of sport that would be.
So yeah, I feel like, let us know if you have a brilliant idea. I feel like send in a voicemail or an email because I want to hear what other brilliant ideas people have for the Olympics. So what else are we looking forward to? We are going to trampoline gymnastics today.
We have a whole crew going to trampolining. I think we have a good we've had a gold medalist in trampolining before.
Oh, from Canada?
Rosie McClellan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so it's kind of, I don't know, I feel like I feel like it's a good vibe around trampolining for Canada.
It's interesting. One of the funny things to me, and I don't know, maybe I never noticed this that much on the coverage, or I actually think Paris is doing like a different job with their venues. But so they are this makes sense, but they're converting the gymnastics venue, which ended competition yesterday, now into the trampoline venue. At the same time, they're converting the rugby field we were at into track. And because I'm going to track later tonight, and it's like they spent a day there converting.
Yeah.
And then swimming is wrapping up this weekend, and then they convert it overnight to the water polo, which again, like it's still a pool, but they have to like change some things. Yeah. So there's a lot of venues that are like one thing, and then I was at table tennis the other night, and then I guess it's also going to be weightlifting when they're done. Oh. So they're like converting venues back and forth, which is super interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. And I think, and like, that's a way for them to be able to use those huge venues for more than 1 week.
Oh, I know what else they're going to do in gymnastics. The basketball finals.
Oh yeah.
So so they're just like converting a bunch of things. Which it does add to the whole like making it really spread out, but also, not bankrupting a city. So it'll be cool. We're going to that. We're going to track. And then, I'm excited about track starting now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we were debating how many days of track is too many days of track to go to.
Oh, yeah, to actually attend.
Yeah.
Because I think between us, we're at like 5.
Yeah, we're at a lot.
It's a lot of track. There's a lot of track viewing coming up.
It's true. It's true. So stay tuned for that. We are going to see Shikari. We haven't figured out how she prefers to say it yet. We will figure that out and report back.